On July 4th, 2024, a Maserati was pulled over for speeding, and what seemed routine changed fast. The trooper smelled bag and a half unzipped and saw the driver shaking badly. He wrote down his name but gave a fake birthday, so the trooper used the fingerprint scanner. The moment the real identity popped up, the driver sprinted to the Maserati, fired up its 425 horsepower, and launched onto the interstate. The Maserati hit 140 miles per hour, and then he did something wild. An unexpected, lightning-fast dive on exit 27 at full speed. The trooper didn't expect it, but he reacted instantly and took the exit too. Even then, that Maserati created a huge gap in seconds, pulling away like a jet. But despite the distance, the trooper stayed locked in and quickly found him again. Nearly 15 miles later, the Maserati pulled the same stunt. Another last-second, high-speed exit at exit 12 with 0 brake lights. The trooper knew matching that move would cause a crash, so he overshot the ramp, looped around, and tried to rejoin the chase. But when he came back, the Maserati was gone. Troopers already had his fingerprints from earlier. They didn't need to find the Maserati that night. With his identity confirmed, they tracked him down and arrested him the very next day. In Los Angeles, October 2025, a stolen Jaguar tied to an assault on an officer flew down the 10 freeway at 130 miles per hour. The driver weaved through traffic like he'd done it 100 times before. No panic, no flinching, just smooth, confident driving.
We're going to stick with it, continuing southbound 110 freeway through downtown LA. Next interchange is going to be the 10 freeway, doing about 90 miles per hour, flying. This guy is flying past everybody, now upwards of 100, pushing 100 miles per hour. Southbound 110 freeway, coming up on the 10 in just about 10 seconds.
Even with heavy traffic, the driver pushed the Jaguar close to 150 miles per hour, slicing through cars like they were standing still. The helicopter never lost him, but he was making the ground units work for every second.
They let it go. He made his way into downtown LA, got on the 101 freeway, then sped right through downtown LA, off the freeway, got onto the 110 freeway just a few moments ago, and again, flying at upwards of 100 miles per hour southbound on the 110 freeway. They lost him momentarily. Now, as I mentioned, that helicopter has a visual once again, but right now there's nobody behind this Jaguar. Now, we believe it's a stolen Jaguar. We know there's obviously a driver in there, but unclear whether there's anybody else in there with him at this point. But he's trying to squeeze through. Going to squeeze through here. Uh-oh. Whew. East on Manchester, under the 110 freeway. Now moving away from us here. He's under the freeway, under the overpass, right? He did not come out the other side. Did not come out the other side yet. This is always a tricky point. It's always a telltale sign. If they're looking to dump the vehicle, sometimes they will stop under the freeway. He's out of the vehicle. The vehicle's rolling. The vehicle is rolling into the intersection. He is on foot under that freeway. He is under the overpass, and there is nobody behind him. He may very well walk away from this crime. Now look at this. That Jaguar is moving on its own, bumping into that van. This is incredible. That driver's seat, by my observation, is empty, and now that Jaguar is coming to a stop there in the middle of the intersection at Manchester Boulevard.
Right as the Jaguar slipped under the bridge near the 110 freeway, the chase took a sharp turn. The driver jumped out mid-pursuit, leaving the car rolling forward on its own. A few seconds later, it came out the other side, with the helicopter still locked on, but the driver's seat completely empty. Officers swarmed in, but there was no one to catch. That high IQ move saved the driver, and to this day, no arrest has been reported.
Try and open it up. Is it okay? It's open, and here it comes to an end. Into a pole. Ah, shucks, he says.
Trooper Brady thought he was dealing with a standard runner on September 13, 2024, pushing his cruiser to the absolute limit to keep pace with a fleeing Dodge Charger. But this wasn't a solo act. The script completely flipped when a Porsche suddenly jumped into the fray, pulling perfectly parallel to the Charger's passenger side. Right there at terminal velocity, the two drivers pulled off a coordinated window-to-window handoff. We only have fragments of the original dash cam footage, but what happens next is wild. The Charger's trunk suddenly flew open, unleashing a literal booby trap, a massive dump of oil right onto the asphalt. Trooper Brady's cruiser hit the slick and instantly lost all traction. Spinning completely out of control, the patrol car crashed hard off the highway, leaving the trooper sidelined in the dirt and dust. With the pursuit abruptly shut down, the Charger and its Porsche escort simply vanished. You'd expect to see oil slicks and coordinated getaway teams strictly in a Hollywood theater, but these guys actually pulled the entire stunt off, right on the interstate. This ASP trooper almost lost his job that night chasing a red Chevy Camaro. It all kicked off when Corporal Clayton McDonald spotted the muscle car flying down Interstate 430 with temporary drive-out tags. Instead of lighting him up right away, the trooper tried to play it stealthy to keep the element of surprise, but the suspect knew exactly what was in his rear view. The driver made sure to play directly on the trooper's ego, baiting the officer into a high-stakes cat-and-mouse game that forced him to push his cruiser to a staggering 147 miles per hour without emergency equipment just to close the gap. The Camaro driver had tried everything to lose the tail, but this trooper was somehow driving even more recklessly than the suspect through the insanely busy traffic. Realizing he was dealing with an officer who wouldn't back down, the driver came up with a genius and high-risk move to force an end to the chase. While clocking 120 miles per hour, he abruptly swept from the far left passing lane all the way across the interstate to dive-bomb the Woodrow exit. It was a dangerously smart play that completely boxed the cruiser out with zero chance to follow. The Camaro vanished into the night, leaving the trooper in the dust with a 10-day suspension and a seriously broken ego. This one didn't end with speed. It ended with a chess move that hit pride harder than a pit ever could. On April 14th, 2023 at night, ASP Trooper David Robinson spotted a racer Dodge Charger coming out of Little Rock and locked onto it. Lights came on, adrenaline kicked in, and the chase was on. After merging onto the interstate, the Charger pulled a high IQ move no one expected, not the trooper and not even many viewers. He slid into the far left lane and slowed down. The trooper blew right past him without realizing it was the Charger. Moments later, the trooper pushed up to 130 miles per hour, hoping to find him ahead on the interstate, not realizing the Charger was already miles behind. On March 28, 2024, in Little Rock, Trooper Killian spotted a black Honda Civic riding too close with a paper tag. This wasn't your average Honda. The second he lit it up, the Civic roared to life, blasting past 113 miles per hour. Flying toward a red light at 100 miles per hour, the Civic didn't even hit the brakes. It slid between two cars, missing them by inches. One risky move saved the Honda Civic that night. After cutting its headlights and slipping into the dark streets, the car vanished. Trooper Killian chased until Woodrow and Asher, but the Civic was gone, forcing the officer to call off the pursuit. On Clayton County streets, a Black Hawk deputy spotted a Dodge Charger Hellcat with a suspended tag. The second he tried to pull it over, the Hellcat punched it, roaring past 700 horsepower, leaving Black Hawk scrambling to keep up.
Black Dodge Charger. Speeds are 114 coming up to Terra Boulevard. on the shoulder.
Both sides pushed hard, but the Hellcat's raw speed was untouchable. At over 700 horses, it tore through county roads like a rocket. The deputy had no chance. The Hellcat smoked him and disappeared. A week later, the same Hellcat ran into Georgia State Patrol. Everyone says, when the state boys show up, it's over. But this time it wasn't. Blue lights lit up, the Hellcat floored it, and troopers couldn't reel him in. Two legendary units, Black Hawk and GSP, both left in the dust. The Hellcat remained undefeated, a muscle car ghost on Georgia highways, proving once again that sometimes horsepower wins. This chase is proof you don't need a NASCAR build to outrun police. Sometimes all it takes is creativity and a little risk. On April 15, 2023, ASP Trooper Thomas Hubbard pulled over a Ford Explorer for speeding. The stop was calm at first. Polite talk, no tension. The driver gave a fake name, and while the trooper walked back to check it, the Explorer suddenly floored it and took off. At around 100 miles per hour, the Explorer pulled off something nobody expected. At the last possible second, the driver cut hard for a right-side exit, threading past a semi by inches. It was smooth, risky, and perfectly timed, the kind of move you don't expect from an Explorer. That single decision blew the chase wide open. The trooper lost him. The search came up empty, and after about 4 minutes, it was called off. The driver was never found. The Ford Mustang 5.0 is practically a purpose-built getaway machine, pushing 480 horsepower straight from the factory and easily clearing the 500 mark with a few basic tunes. It's an absolute nightmare for standard patrol cruisers. In the middle of the night on May 3, 2026, a trooper spotted a glaringly familiar sight, a bright orange 5.0 running fake tags. This wasn't just a random traffic stop. This was the exact same car that had left this very trooper in the dust just 1 week earlier. The moment the blue lights flashed, the Mustang didn't hesitate. The driver was more than ready to run it back and embarrass the officer all over again.
westbound RP President. Northbound Scott, instructed by state police. Speeds right now to 40 and traffic's light.
The tight city streets were just a warm-up. The second the Mustang cleared the on-ramp and hit the open interstate, the trooper's chances went from slim to absolute zero. Now off the leash, the driver dropped a gear and let that 5.0-liter V8 do exactly what it was built for. The patrol cruiser was instantly outclassed, fighting a hopeless battle against the Mustang's raw torque and top-end speed. In a matter of seconds, the suspect put literal football fields between them, a brutal, high-speed disappearing act that allowed him to vanish into the darkness and humiliate the exact same trooper twice in just 7 days. In Little Rock, Arkansas, a Corvette C6 turned the night into a nightmare for troopers. After slipping past 3 units, another trooper locked on as the chase hit full throttle, pushing speeds of 135 to 140 miles per hour.
20, lit him up. He's taking off. We're going to be 30 eastbound.
Vehicle description, charges, speeds, traffic.
30 westbound, direction 30 eastbound, speeds 135. It's going to be darker color Corvette. So I'll let you know. 28 second light traffic.
The Corvette flew through highway construction zones, swerving around barrels and dodging traffic at impossible speeds. At 120 miles per hour, the driver made a daring move, sliding past a car in front and shooting into the right lane.
Go left, yeah, there we go.
I just wrecked out. 30 eastbound, 114.
The trooper had no time to react. He clipped the barrels and slammed into an innocent couple's vehicle. Meanwhile, the Corvette disappeared into the night. Another chase where Arkansas State Police were left empty-handed. On April 20th, 2024, an Arkansas State Police trooper pulled over an orange Dodge Charger RT outside a Popeyes on University Avenue after spotting a temporary tag that looked freshly printed but didn't line up in the system. The driver stopped, shifted into park, and played it cool. But the moment the trooper stepped out and closed in on the Charger's window, the driver hit the gas. Honestly, a smart move that created a massive gap right from the start. Charger RT clearly wasn't stock. It moved like a modified setup, likely pushing 500 plus horsepower, and it showed as the driver hit around 130 miles per hour in seconds. But instead of staying on the highway, he made a smart move, ditching the wide roads and cutting toward narrow streets, knowing ASP troopers were already getting the radio call and setting up ahead. trooper eventually lost sight and had to back off. That night, the driver didn't just run, he outthought ASP, staying ahead of every call going over the radio. With fake tags and no trail to follow, he vanished clean, leaving troopers empty-handed and owning the night. On August 17, 2024, in Little Rock, ASP trooper Brandon Walker was cruising when an SRT Jeep blew past him at insane speed, nearly clipping two cars in front of it. Walker hit the lights immediately, and just like that, the chase was on.
Off the radio.
The SRT Jeep pushed 150 miles per hour in a 65, blasting through reds and dodging traffic at ridiculous speeds. Walker struggled to close the gap, but never lost sight of him.
I'm running parallel with you. We're going right like the beginning of the north.
At around 80 miles per hour, the SRT threw a hard right turn. Its big brakes saved it, but the trooper almost slid into a light pole trying to follow. The gap exploded instantly. With storm lightning hitting Little Rock, Walker pushed back up to 100 miles per hour, searching for the Jeep, but it was already long gone. When fleeing suspects see the Blackhawk unit, most of them wet their pants. But on October 13, 2024, this biker with a funny, weird helmet embarrassed some of the most brutal cops in the country and played with them. It all started when multiple 911 calls flooded the dispatch center reporting a group of bikers weaving through heavy traffic at dangerous speeds. The Blackhawk unit and sheriff deputies quickly jumped into the mix, narrowing their focus and locking onto one specific rider who was making the busy streets his personal stage.
Approaching Norman Boulevard.
The chase turned into a literal cat-and-mouse game at a gas station. Rocking a helmet with giant mouse ears, the rider began joking with the troopers, looping the pumps to stay just out of reach. While deputies tried to box him in, his friends filmed the entire stunt for a cool Instagram reel.
Whoa, what the fuck? Whoa, what is
communications. There he did. Oh.
The Black Hawk unit might have flawless driving skills, but they were fighting a losing battle against the evening gridlock. The rider cooked the deputies by weaving deep into a sea of cars until those mouse ears were nowhere to be found. With the visual lost and zero chance to close the gap, the unit was forced to terminate the pursuit. Because the bike carried no license plate, the unknown suspect successfully ghosted the most elite unit in the county, and the driver was never found. In Arkansas, there's a legend about one Dodge Challenger, a car that's become the stuff of bad-time stories for troopers. This silver beast had already outrun police before, and now it was back. Legendary trooper Jacob Byrd, one of the most skilled drivers in the country, found himself chasing the Challenger as it thundered down Interstate 30. But even Jacob Byrd was not able to catch this ghost Dodge. Driver pulled his signature move, blacked out the headlights. At nearly 161 miles per hour, the Challenger became a phantom on Interstate 440, slicing through the darkness. Byrd's radar confirmed the speed, but the only trace left was the fading echo of that engine. Byrd chased it off the interstate, down Forsh Dam, and into the back roads of Fraser Pike. He searched every turn, refusing to give up, but the ghost Dodge had vanished.
Hey man, did a car come through here?
I'll get that 28.
He went. You said he did not come this way?
Somewhere in Arkansas, that V8 still roars across empty roads, but to this day, not a single trooper has been able to catch it.